Hi, welcome to the Poleshift News, the home of the Mathstar Observatory. Guys, as you know, there's been a lot of activity going on around the world. You may have heard in Southern California there's been some recent swarming of magnitude 7 earthquakes, and I was just wondering whether those was connected in some way to some of the shifts in changes in the data that we've recently collected from America. Over the last few days we've had some data from Hong Kong, and yesterday we got some data in from Kentucky, which we'll be having a look into later on in this video. We've got some data also from Australia in Perth, which we'll be processing later on today, and that will be uploaded tomorrow. And I've also asked JD in Southern California if he can just pull the SD card out of his magnetometer and get that data over to us so we can compare the data with possibly some of the recent activity in Southern California with regards to those recent earthquakes. So guys, let's get into it, but before we do, as always, a big thanks to the few people that support the observatory. This is what we do: we collect the data and we upload it to the website. We also do a little YouTube announcement of that data and inform you guys of what's going on with regards to the most important, probably, anomaly that's taking place in humanity with regards to some of the biggest changes that are taking place on our planet. So without further ado, let's have a look at that data. So guys, as you can see, this is the data collected from Kentucky, United States of America, from the 29th of the 6th 2019 to the 6th of the 7th 2019, and just towards the end there we can see that it's had a little bit of an uptick in the background magnetic intensity. It's risen by about 2 microteslas, and I was just wondering whether this was an effect of some of that most recent earthquake activity. Now I know that this data is coming from Kentucky, but you know, I just wanted to see whether around about the same time this data shifted into, you know, a couple of extra microteslas in that region, whether it was a component of the activity that was taking place along that same latitude in the United States, but way over there in Southern California. So like I said, you know, we've asked JD in Southern California if he can pull his data and send that over to us, and then perhaps in a couple of days time we can compare the data along with the times that it's changed, and also some of that data that has recently been added to USGS. So let's just have a little look at USGS, see what's been going on recently over there in Southern California with regards to earthquakes, and those 7 magnitude earthquakes more in particular. So here we can see on USGS where those earthquakes have been taking place in relationship to, you know, the close proximity of relatively where one of our magnetometers are. So like I say, I've asked JD if he can pull the SD card out and just send the data over to us, and we can see whether our equipment's been affected by those recent earthquakes. I mean, at the end of the day, 7.1 is a very large magnitude earthquake. You know, if there was more time, more money, you know, brought into our observatory, you know, we could easily build the equipment to measure seismic activity. And what I would have liked to have done is built something and sent it out to JD if he didn't mind the extra, you know, equipment going out to him, and we could have possibly monitored future earthquakes in that region if they are on the uptick. And you know what I'd do as well, I'd also cherry pick all these other high magnitude earthquakes that are taking place around the world, and probably put the seismic sensors in those regions as well, so that we could also monitor, you know, from this observatory, earthquakes that are taking place around the world. Maybe in the future, you know, we'll be doing more than just monitoring the magnetic intensities and changes with regards to the pole reversal in the future. But there you go, guys. Just before I end the video, guys, as you can see, we're nearing nearly 24,000 subscribers. There's less than 200 people that actually support the observatory, and it's a real observatory that collects live data all around the world now on magnetic intensity, and we feed that back over to the website so that you can have a look at the changes as them when that data comes in. Like I say, tomorrow we'll be looking at the data from Perth, Australia, and then maybe we'll be taking a look at what's been going on in California recently. And we don't know, there might be some activity showed up in relationship to the time those earthquakes took place, and that'd be interesting if that is the case. We can compare the data, but really the bottom line is, guys, is that we need a little bit more support. There is always a few people that are going on a little bit beyond reasonable help, to mention just a few. Linda, Douglas, Brad recently, over in Kentucky. Not only does he home one of our magnetometers, but he's recently took it upon himself to take a few of those items off the wish list on the website. And we've also got Scott now, who has located some CJ HMC chips for us, so that we can put a few more magnetometers out there, perhaps in the regions of M8 and M7, where that low intensity is on our planet. And it's just great that these people are prepared to do a little bit more than just the average. But guys, like I say, 24,000 subscribers. If we could get a few more people on board, we could probably build other sensors. We could probably finish a few of them projects that we've been putting on the back burner recently, and I'd like to get those done. But it's all down to time and money at the end of the day, and we need a little bit more support. Like I say, we've got one of the rarest observatories I know of. There's not another observatory that archives the magnetic data in the same manner as what we do. So I think it's well worth a bit more support than what we get. And if we can do that, then we can just speed up the projects that we've got on the back burner, like the cloud chamber, the laser communicator, and putting out more magnetometers. So guys, with that I'll leave it there. I'll be back tomorrow with an update from Perth, Australia, and we'll have a look at the data from that region, and maybe in a couple of days we'll be looking at some data from South California, that region where we've been having those 7.1 earthquakes. So I'll say nothing more than, guys, the link is down there if you want to support us, and enjoy the rest of your week. As always, guys, bye for now.